I need a haircut. Oh my god, he's back for the 24th time. Everything looks completely different because, surprise, surprise, I finally moved out. Which is why I haven't uploaded any videos recently, because as it turns out, moving out and actually being an adult is difficult. Apparently there's a thing called laundry you have to do. You have to wash your own dishes. You have to pay this thing called rent. And like, you have to go to like do a job and like work to get money so you can pay rent. It's crazy. But you're not here for that, you're here for the more interesting things, so let's get to that. Cutting it bloody close. I've finally got a garage. Yes, the long-awaited move out and actually having a garage to work on a car has happened. I'm excited, it's great. There's a lot of things I have to do to this. I took it out to a drift event like probably a month ago now, just to sort of have a feel of it and see how it performed, because that's realistically what I'm going to be doing with this. And there was a couple of things that were sort of a bit how you going, so I've learnt that now. I did get some clips for drifting, but the other night I came out to try and take photos of the car, and my SD card was full. Me being the idiot I am, I didn't actually check what I was deleting before I deleted it, so I ended up deleting a whole bunch of videos from the drift event. So I'll try and get any clips I have and show them now, but there wasn't many clips that actually made it and didn't get deleted, so a lot of them are like Snapchat recordings of me recording the recordings, if that makes any sense. But I'll show you the main things we have to do so far. Lighting will be non-existent in here, but that's something you're just gonna have to deal with. Don't mind the purple rim in the back. I bought some stockies. I've got another set, and the bloke who I bought them off was like, hey, you want purple rims? I'm like, hell yeah, mate. So he painted my stockies for free. Actually, I just remembered the lights in here are LEDs, so they are stupid bright. Look at that, damn professional lighting there. So, this is our shift knob currently. It is a circular shift knob, and the top of it, for some reason, spins. I don't know if it's so that like when you're changing gears, you can like change it just like that and not have to move it. If you're changing gears like some sort of idiot, it rotates at the top. I've already taken the shift boot off. No, it didn't come without a shift boot. I just decided to take it off while I'm doing this. So when I bought the car, it did say it had a short shifter, and I was like, oh, sweet, that saves me, you know, having to buy a short shifter. I didn't realize it is a SAS, which is this shift knob. It is a SAS short shifter, and I figured, oh, well, I mean, I'll keep the short shifter, obviously, but I just hate this bloody shift knob. So I got myself a nice likewise one, which should go on there and look bloody cool. It almost matches my drift button, but I don't really care. I just wanted something that I can actually, like, downshift properly instead of having to, like, hold it at the top while I downshift like a fucking idiot. This is just a lot nicer. So I looked up what my thread pattern was, and the normal stock Skyline thread pattern is M10 by 125, which is what the nuts they gave me for. Me being the idiot I am, I didn't think about the fact that obviously if it's a different shifter, because it's a short shifter, it's not going to have the same thread on it, and this thing actually doesn't have any thread on it. I originally thought it might have just been stripped clean off. If I can focus on bloody that. It's hard to see because there's no bloody lighting, but that has no thread on it, which is kind of really annoying because it makes my life a whole lot more difficult. And not to mention, this thing is like, I don't even know, 14 mil thick or something like that, but it's not going to fit on there. That's just not going to work. Although the shift knob is not realistically that important when it comes to how the car performs, it is a big part of driver engagement. And if I'm going to be downshifting, I want to be comfortable downshifting because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of clutch kicking. That's the other thing I learnt, is I need to stop using the bloody handbrake, because when I took it out the first time, this is the first rear-wheel drive car I've ever actually owned and driven, so I was a little bit sketchy with it, so I was doing real basic shit, legit just clutch in, rip your handbrake, turn into the corner and power through it. Although using the handbrake's good because it's really easy, it's not something I want to be doing. I want to actually learn how to use the weight of the car to do like a feint entry or a Scando, Scandinavian fleck, whatever they call it in bloody the land down under. I need to get more comfortable actually using the weight of the car in combination with my clutch, because my clutch is a heavy duty. It's not quite a button clutch, but the engagement point is quite narrow. So it means it's really easy to clutch kick, and I'm quite comfortable clutch kicking this because I know it is a heavy duty. So if I can get more used to that, I'll be a lot happier. Now for the more important part, and realistically a lot more of an exciting part, the engine bay. Now I mentioned in the last video that I did on my Skyline, the whole reason I got the Skyline instead of the Subi is because I want a car that I can actually make power with and not have to worry. Subis, the engines don't really make that much power, and even if you do have an engine that makes power, the gearboxes don't handle it. Now, anyone who knows anything about RBs will know that there's a couple of things you've got to watch out for them, but overall, the bottom end and the stock, just everything will hold power well. Your heads, I mean, they flow really well. You can get them ported if need be, but generally they're fine. Couple of issues they have. First of all, oiling. There's actually the oil pump at high RPM will pump too efficiently to the head, and all the oil will get trapped in the head and it won't go down to the sump. So what a lot of people will do, you'll either get a head drain, meaning it'll drain extra oil from the head back down to the sump, or you can get restrictors in your oil flow that will actually restrict the amount of oil going to the head. Those are the two options. I haven't really decided which one I'm going to go with yet. I'd rather go with the head drain because I'd rather have extra oil flowing through it as opposed to restricting how much oil's there, but I'll look into that later on. Apart from oiling, these motors are generally pretty good. They don't have any issues with overheating, although if I'm looking at pushing more boost and everything, I will look at getting a nice new big radiator just for safety and insurance. I just don't really want to be pushing too much power without any of that. Apart from that, I know this is a Series 1 motor, so the coil packs apparently aren't as good. A lot of people swap them out. If I'm going bigger power, I'm going to get new coil packs anyway, so that's something I'll do later on. Now for the really fun parts. As you can see there, we got a little Turbski. It's cute, little internal gate, you know, everything. It's nice, but it's not exactly big by any means. Now, these motors, they love to rev, they love to make power. I know a lot of people that make easy 400 just with a new turbo and some new injectors, and they don't do anything else to it, and it runs. I don't particularly want to just slap a turbo on and pump more fuel into it and call it a day. Although these motors can handle it, I'd rather do it right and have it for longevity. Obviously, if I'm going to be drifting it, I'm going to be beating on it quite a bit, so I'd rather that it actually, you know, has some insurance and quality to it. But with that being said, we are obviously going to put a big turbo on it. And if we come over here, you will see a cheeky little turbo. This is a Garrett GTX 3071R. I did a whole bunch of research. Originally, everyone who told me, when I told them that I had an RB25, they were all telling me to go to a 3582R, which is the same size that the XR6 Turbo Barras use stock. Although I would love one of them because they make huge power and they're quite big turbos. This is for drifting, and 95% of the drifters I've talked to have said, especially when you're starting out, a 3582R is just way too big. It'll be laggy, and unless you're doing a lot of third and fourth gear stuff, you realistically don't need it. So I decided to get the small frame turbo instead of a medium frame, just because it'll be a lot more responsive, it'll still flow well, it's Garrett, it's a ball bearing turbo, it's going to perform really well. As far as, you know, this stock small turbo, it'll actually respond similarly to this, especially if I get some bigger cams, but it means that I'll have a lot more power, but not so much power like I would with the 3582R, where I'm lagging and boost spiking and can't realistically use it. I'm still learning to drift, so I'd much rather learn on a smaller turbo, get a bigger turbo later on, and also making less power. There's a lot less supporting mods I have to worry about. So obviously fueling, big intercooler, big turbo, coil packs, just because it's nice to have new coil packs. Apart from that, that's realistically only the basics. Obviously, I need to look into something with the head drain, whether I get a bigger head drain or just get a restrictor or something like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't fully decided on that yet. But I've got another drift event coming up on the 9th of May, and that's going to be my main sort of thing to really find out what I do and don't need. I'm a little more confident in the car now. I know how to throw it around and actually handle it. So I'm going to keep it stock power obviously when I'm learning, and then as time progresses I'll put money in. I also need obviously a new ECU. That's going to be the biggest thing. Right now it's looking probably a Link 4 will be the best route to go, because they're just tried and true. Most people on the RB forums swear by them. So overall, right now, it's ready to go, ready to drift. The only thing I'm going to do is buy a fire extinguisher. You know, better be safe than sorry. I'm not expecting it to burn or blow up or anything, but I'd rather have the fire extinguisher when I take it to track next, so I can really give it a proper go, and it's one less thing to worry about. So that's it mostly. This is going to be the drift project. It is an absolute pig. Paint is faded and rooted. I do actually have some wrap there. Originally I was going to wrap my Subi. I bought some yellow wrap because I wanted to wrap the Subi yellow, but when I ordered it, it was a completely different yellow to what I thought. Let me just try and get this out so you can see it. And it's a really ugly sort of pale yellow. It has a little bit of water damage, but I don't reckon that'll affect it too much. But yeah, it's a really ugly pale yellow, but also this paint is rooted, so I might just chuck it on anyway because it's a drift car. It's not really supposed to look fancy or anything, and I think it'd be funny to have an ugly pale yellow R33 boat that just sounds cool. So I'll keep you updated on everything. I'm going to start actually working on the Skyline now that I've actually fully moved in and we're all set up. I've got this to work on now. I'm stopped procrastinating. I need to save up money, obviously, because it is very expensive to build a race car. As far as power level goes for it, I'm not going to be looking for anything over 400, but that's going to be a responsive 400, not a 400 where it doesn't spool until 5500 RPM, because I can't realistically use that. I'm going to be really interested to actually see how this goes, because all of my previous experience with cars is my Subi, because before my Subi I didn't even know anything about cars and I taught myself everything. Since then I've talked to a lot of people, I've done a TAFE course, I'm a little more sort of mechanically inclined. I'm going to be really interested to see how this car performs and everything. Once again, cars are just a learning experience for me. I've always wanted a Skyline though, from day one. It's always been my dream car, and although it's not an R34 or a GTR or anything fancy like that, it is still my Skyline. I own it outright and I'm happy with it. So I hope you stay tuned. Apologies once again for going MIA. I don't really even bother apologizing anymore. It's not like I monetize my videos. It's not like anyone's expecting me to post. I make videos when I can, when I enjoy it. But this is all documentation. I'll post more skid vids and drifting clips when I get them. I'll do a full video on the day, 9th of May. So look for a video a little bit after then. I'll try and get as many clips as I can. Just a fair warning, I'm really bad at drifting. Like I said, this is literally the first rear-wheel drive car I've ever owned, so don't expect any crazy Formula D level drifting. I'm not good, I know I have to learn, but there's only one way to learn, and that's to get in and do it. I'm gonna look like an idiot. I made a fool of myself last time. I was really scared because I didn't want to ride off my car, but one thing I've learnt is just send it. Just send it or end it. There were people there in NA shitboxes, AU Falcons. They drifted harder than all of the super well-built 500 horsepower drift cars simply because they were willing to send it. So as I get more comfortable with this, I'll obviously learn to drift it more, and then as we get more power, I can start doing some more crazy stuff, maybe even enter in some competitions. We'll see how it goes. I know there's a lot of other Brisbane YouTubers that are into drifting. Two ones that you should go check out right now, James Nolan and Ride the Slide. I'll link both their channels below. They're doing some crazy shit. If you want to learn stuff about cars, go to their channels. They actually know what they're doing. They're not just some random kid in his garage playing around. So for the next couple of weeks until May comes around, I'm just gonna be working on this, getting it as ready as possible, and I'll get the video out as soon as I can of the actual drifting day. Hopefully it goes well. Fingers crossed I don't ride off my car. I won't be driving this much on the road, so anyone who saw me around the car scene and used to see me at hump days and hot shots and everything, this car will not be there. I'm sorry. I'm still on my P's, and Queensland Police don't exactly like P-platers driving turbo Skylines, especially not when it's making 400 horsepower with a screamer pipe. Probably not a smart idea. Thank you very much to anyone who has stuck around even though I haven't been uploading. I should be posting more now that I'm all settled in here, ready to go. Go check out those other YouTubers, they're in the comment section below. It's been the Thunder from Down Under, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
That doesn't make sense.